Good evening, everybody. Nice big day on the Dow today. I say nice big day. Would have even been bigger had Boeing opened positive. Yeah, they were from the forum, that's right. So this kind of, I guess, amplifies the reason why we look at what the market is doing first on any given day or any given time frame. The real strong indication today was the fact that they gapped up. Notice where they did kind of this little mini belt hold right here on the 34. And the fact that they gapped it up in the NASDAQ and started trading higher. Oops. Hold on. That's just fine now to do. When we got up here and we were nuzzling the T-line, that would have been a warning to see what would happen. But the fact that they went right through that level gave us a much more clear indication of what was happening, that the bulls had definitely stepped back in. So now we've got a different criteria. We knew we were in a downtrend until we saw a buy signal and a close back up above the T-line. The S&P 500 sitting right here at the 200 and then came back up through the T-line. Yeah, it bounced off the 34 EMA. So with that in mind, now it's not as true a reversal signal, but it's still telling us that if we can see they were bouncing off the 34, the NASDAQ bounced off the 34. The Dow did a bullish engulfing signal at the 34. So we have to kind of assume, are the futures still moving? Yep, that's up another 88 tonight. So we have to still assume that as long as the Dow needs to get up above the T-line, but as long as the other indexes seem to be indicating that we're back up, that we can assume that we're probably in an uptrend as long as we stay above the T-line right now. So, if that's the case, things like this is where we can take advantage of our knowledge of the patterns. This, to me, looks like a classic pattern. Your fry pan bottom, J-hook pattern. The signal on the NASDAQ was less of a signal as it was more of kind of a belt hold, small belt hold signal. So it's not your truest signal. Something like this over here. Over here wasn't a true kicker signal, but it was a relatively strong signal. So right now we have to just assume that this was kind of a belt hold. And what was adding more credence to a possible belt hold was the fact that he did gap it up and take it higher. Now remember, one of the elements of candlestick analysis is the bigger the signal, the more compelling there's been a change of investor sentiment. So look what this has done from here to here. This has happened in 2 days where it took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days to do the same thing over here to make that same type of move. So we got to right now assume that we're back up above the T-line. That allows us to start taking advantage of the patterns that we recognize. And this is why I like going back and showing people charts of what, why is that not a buy signal on the NASDAQ? I guess I didn't answer that correctly, did I? It's more, it's not a strong buy signal, but it is a potential buy signal in the sense you do have a belt hold type signal and then bullish confirmation. So yes, that is, to me, it's not a morning star. Remember, a morning star looks like a day of indecision. This was not a day of indecision right here. We'll find the indecision, or the indecision. We'll find the morning star. Oh, did Bold have one? That's more of a morning star right here. Big down day, a day of indecision, and a close back above the halfway point of this candle. Now look where this occurred. Right smack dab off the T-line. So you got a morning star signal. What else does it indicate? Indicated we got a J-hook pattern setting up. Now, this is where, if you can analyze what's happening right here based upon your signal, where it's occurring, and what type of pattern setup, this is where I kind of got my, I want to say, education, telling me what patterns worked well. For example, look at the fry pan bottom type pattern with a doji, bullish confirmation. And then look where it broke out. So when I'm looking at this right here, my eyes go back and say, all right, this was a fry pan bottom breakout. And look at all the elements that you can add to why this was a definite fry pan bottom, because it's supported on the 50, a series of dojis, bullish confirmation. This allows you to get much better analysis by seeing what's happened in the past and what type of pattern set up. Oh, I usually don't do this. Silica, that's a little morning star signal, yes. And observe the obvious. Where did this morning star signal occur? Right smack dab off the 50. What told you to start looking for a buy signal? Because as you got close to the oversold area, they gapped the doji down. And where do most people sell? They panic sell at the bottom. And when we can see a signal setting up, what's our simple rule for confirming the signal? Doji, the doji rule. It's going to move in the direction of how they open. So what's this tell us right now, adding all that together? I want to be buying on positive trading, because what's that telling you? It's confirming the Morningstar signal and also telling you the T-line's not acting as a resistance anymore. So what would a place, if we bought this on positive trading tomorrow, where would be the last place you'd want to see this close? Back below the T-line, which tomorrow probably would be up somewhere up here. Because if it did that, what did it tell us about this J-hook pattern? It didn't act as a J-hook. Now it's acting as kind of a downtrending failure with a downtrend. That's observe the obvious. Kind of the 50-day moving average area was acting as support. Not so much that it was acting as support. Where do you think everybody is watching to see what happens here? That's probably a stupid way to state that, isn't it? Where do you think everybody's watching to see what happens at a possible support level like the 50-day moving average? See what's happening here. So, as a candlestick investor, I was showing a group today, or kind of relating that so many times I was asked the question, how many days does it take for it to move up, or what percentage does it need to move up to tell you that you've got a reversal? And because there's a lot of technical strategies that says, you want to see it move up three 3 times, or you want to see it move up 3%, 5%, 10%. That's all thrown out the window when you're using candlesticks. Because what is this right here? This is the reversal signal. What is the target? I would suspect back up to the top of this trend channel. Now, why would I suspect that? Because it doesn't take much for everybody to see that that was the top of the trend. Now you've had a bottoming action. Now you watch to see if it comes back up to the top of that trend. Now I forgot what I was saying. So, bah humbug. That's just a fine howdy do. So if it opens positive, that's kind of implying that it's confirming the Morningstar signal and telling you the T-line is not acting as a resistance anymore. So what are the simple things that you kind of watch to make sure that your uptrend is in progress? Well, where's the obvious little resistance level? Right there. So if it gets up here and kind of hovers and fails, what's that telling you? That this resistance level is still acting as resistance. If it comes up here and goes right through, what's that tell you? Now you've got wave 1, wave 2, going into wave 3. I guess so. Oh. Well, Bob, I use the 3%, 5% because different technical analysis have different parameters. But the underlying factor is the market doesn't give a hoot where you bought. The market doesn't care what percentage move you're looking for. What we're using is the things that tell us that there's been a change of investor sentiment. Using Wharton, is there a way to scan for setups like this? Definitely. That's how I found these in the first place. But look what happened on VHC. We've been holding this one because of the fry pan bottom, and it kept testing this level. What did it do today? This is why the 2+2 analysis dramatically improves your probabilities of being in the right place at the right time. What was the resistance level? Right here. What was the pattern? Fry pan bottom. What told us that we were breaking out of the resistance level? Well, there's our doji sandwich. What can we imply on a positive open on this type of setup? That this candle right here is going to be the same magnitude as this candle right here. And if that's the case, what's it telling us about the breakout level? That we're breaking out. And if this candle and this candle are the same, it should close up here somewhere. And if it does that, what's it tell us about our pattern? That we've broken out. You want to be a buyer of this one. Now, remember, we always say you want to buy the signals when they're in the oversold area. You're usually buying the patterns when the stochastics are already up here in the overbought area. When we did our training, when did we do it? Not this past weekend, the previous weekend. Remember what one of the strongest signals are, your left-right combo. Well, today, we can analyze very simply that an IMMU got up here, doji, indecision, 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 left-right combo. What's that tell you about your decisions? They're probably taking this up now, still got the upside potential of heading up here to the 200-day moving average. So knowing what the overall market is doing gives us that much more latitude to say, all right, here's a pattern setup, LXRX. There's kind of our breakout. There's our consolidation. Where did our consolidation stop? Because we can see there's a bullish harami, which tells us the selling has stopped. And where did it do it? Right smack dab on the T-line. What do we want to do with this one tomorrow? If it opens positive, we want to be buying immediately, because more than likely, we're in a breakout mode. And if the breakout mode is this magnitude, That's getting you up, testing this area, and possibly up to the 200-day moving average again. Being able to add everything together. So here's what we're going to do tonight later on. We're going to try to figure out what name to give this other than a kicker gap up. All right, thank you, RM. Look at PBYI. Notice where it pulled back after stalling here at the 200. Right smack dab to the T-line. Now look what it's done. Kind of a little doji sandwich breakout, bobble breakout. What's our next upside potential? Well, if this is wave 1, wave 3 is going to take us way up here into the $50 range. Hail Mary kicker. All right, Jay, we'll write that one down. So anytime we see this is why when we were showing the different patterns 2 weekends ago, it's because we know what to look for, what to expect. The big move, the consolidation. Now look at the little mini scoop. More than likely there will be a 45 degree. Which means if I'm trying to learn, that's not the way to say it. You don't have to learn all 18 signals and patterns. That's why we're advocating just learning 4 or 5, because you might not have bought on this day, but you might be buying on this day or this day because you know what to expect after this type of move. Model rocket kicker, all right. Gap kick, all right. Mother kicker. Jeremiah. Steve Austin kicker. Okay. I was thinking of something serious. Rocket kicker with a booster. All right. All right. We're not even there yet. So you think about it. So here's a GDS. Kind of our bobble breakout. Notice the one element coming out of this fry pan bottom. There's the breakout. What's our element? Let's see. There's never been a close below the T line. Pod. There's our bobble breakout. Let me make this one smaller. There's your fry pan bottom, bobble breakout right at the breakout level. Telling us we're in the next wave. Now we've got a bullish engulfing signal. What's our next expectation? Another wave to the upside, maybe the same magnitude as this. The Bigelow Blaster. I don't want to put my name on anything that might have a possibility of failing. So that type of information is, we put out a recommendation on big lots over the weekend because you got your best friend signal, and what can we expect from that? More upside. So we recommended buying the April 3750s for $1 because over the next week or two, not even a week or two, maybe over the next week, you could move up to the 200, probably taking that $1 price move up to about a $3 or $3.50, $3 to $3.50 price move. So it's easy to find when it's time to buy. You also need to know when it's time to sell. So there was a nice big bullish engulfing belt hold, but then where was it? What did it tell us today? Pretty much told us that they failed the 200 and they closed below the T line. So if you're looking at this chart, this is where just the observable common sense comes into play. Is this a good looking chart on the bullish side? Definitely not. It fizzled. So this is the part that had a blast off. We can work off of that. This This was the hardest part for me through the years. Saying, oh man, a real strong chart. Well, maybe it's just consolidating. Oh man. And then my first thought would be, okay, let's give it a little bit more time. Maybe it needs some more. Instead of saying, look at all the elements. Failed at the 200. It closed below the T line. The castics are heading down. Is this the best place to have your money? Sometimes you say, if I bought here, selling here, that means I can take my money and go find something that looks more like this. What I discovered was the faster I got out of a trade that was telling me it wasn't working, the faster I could go start replenishing that loss and getting that profitability back again. So we bought our ARQL the other day on this big blast off, and look what it's done over the last couple of days. This is where knowing what to expect, I will make a decision instantly, because we know that if this opens positive tomorrow, what do we got setting up? Got that double doji setup, which means more than likely this will be another strong day based upon the force of this move. So knowing, first of all, the doji rule, that it's going to move in the direction of how they open after a doji. And secondly, if it's doing a double doji, that this could be another good strong day, that allows you that keeps you from hesitating, that you know what to do immediately. Now, on the other hand, if it opens lower tomorrow, it's telling us, they're moving in this direction. Where are they probably moving back to? Probably a support level. You want to probably be out of that trade and go someplace else. Not that you would be out for good. For all we know, it comes back, hits this level, does a doji, and then starts back up. We can always come back in. But anytime I see something where I know the probabilities are against me, based upon how it opens, I take that money because I have already scanned the next day where I've got 3, 5, 10, 12 good trade setups. Why sit in something that's telling you, it's not working out right now? Okay, we've got a bunch of good ones here, but let's go to the biggies first. We saw in Tesla that it was kind of forming a bottom, and now it's closed back up above the T-line. So what becomes our next analysis? Well, we had a doji, bullish confirmation, close above the T-line. Where do you think the next target's likely to be? Probably back up to the 50. Now, is that worthwhile? Well, there's two ways to trade something like this. Obviously, if you're buying the stock, getting 20 points on a $290 stock isn't a big percentage. But if we know the direction of something and what the magnitude might be, now you've got opportunities to set up option strategies that make this a very profitable trade setup. Now, Roku, ever since it did the kicker signal over here, has been a very simple analysis. You're in a 45 degree as long as they can't close it below the T-line. Notice what they did down here. They brought it back down to the T-line, and by the end of the day, they were back up here. What did that tell us about the T-line? T-line was still acting as a good, strong support. You just hang on to this. So these are the type of trades you want to analyze and say, I got a kicker signal. Now remember, a kicker signal is a strong signal no matter where it occurs in your stochastics. You could be in an overbought area and see a kicker signal. That means there's still going to be more upside. Where do I put my stop on Roku? I don't want to see it close back below the T-line. Micron. Why is this relevant? Look at the signal that occurred on Friday. A left-right combo. Where was stochastic? Down here. Where did this left-right combo occur? Where everybody and their brother was watching. Right smack dab off the 50. Opens positive. That didn't give us complete confirmation. Didn't get through the T-line. But I'd be watching this tomorrow. If this opens positive and starts trading positive, what do we got going on? A bullish doji sandwich telling us the T-line in the 34 are not acting as resistance. You should have another day like this. So even if, as a day trader, you could see it come back up into this range. Or if you're buying calls, you know that if you're buying calls on strength, you've got a good probability that you've got more upside afterwards. Because of what I call the 2+2, left-right combo, doji sandwich setup, just everything adds up that if this opens positive, there's going to be more upside. Was that a mental stop or a set stop? The reason I asked is the T-line breached multiple days. Usually I use a close. What one that was that on? Roku? If you want to be real aggressive or more tight, you put your stop just below today's open. Now, I would imagine that would also coincide with the T-line tomorrow, because logic says if it opens positive and comes back down through this level and the T-line, yep, you got some selling going on. So the further you get up into the overbought area, the closer I start putting my stop, which is usually one tick below the open of the previous day. Labu, left, or not a left-right combo, but bullish trading right here at the 34. Is that relevant? 34, 34 and the 50. Which direction is this one going? Got a slow uptrend, and every time it hits a support level, they're taking it back up. Where's your next likely target? Right, somewhere up in this range. Now, that may not mean you'd want to trade Labu in its own right. You might trade things that are in that sector. They're providing very good signals. If the ETF is showing there's lots of buying coming into the biotechs, go pick out signals or patterns like ALGN. I mean, this is, again, observe the obvious. Is the 50 a relevant factor? Looks like it. So you had the left-right combo, showed you and closed below the T-line. The one thing that we illustrated or pointed out extensively 2 weekends ago was if you see a left-right combo in the overbought area, you probably want to close out the position. You don't have to have confirmation because usually a left-right combo is the last nail in the coffin telling you they've finally made their decision. CD, I scan for the signals. And I'm looking for the signals. The number one criteria for any buying or selling on a trade is the signal itself. Then everything else falls into line of whether it's a pattern setup or whether it's bouncing off moving averages. I start adding everything else into it. So last night when I did scans on this one, it was because there was a Morningstar signal, and I could see that it was bouncing up off the T-line, and it had the potential of doing a strong J-hook pattern. But the reason I found it in the first place was because of this little signal right here, the Morningstar signal. Apple, right off the 34, and gapped up. See, that gap up, even though this isn't a relevant signal, still told you they gapped it up through the T-line. That tells you there's probably some strong buying coming in. So even though you don't have a true signal right here, this tells you there's probably going to be upside. But because there isn't a true signal, you trade this on the basis that anytime you see the first selling come in, you start taking profits, and then see if another buy signal comes back into the trade. Amazon, also kind of a little belt hold. And the other relevancy of this right here was, look where it occurred. Kind of right in this area where it had supported a few times already. So where do you think Amazon's likely to move to? Right, coming back up to test the 200. Facebook, backed off today, but you can see the pattern. There's kind of your little cup and handle. If this opens positive tomorrow, what do you think is going on? It's bullish doji sandwich. So if this candle right here is the same as this candle right here, what's that tell you about your breakout level? They've broken out. You're probably in another wave like this. And Nugget, not showing a whole heck of a lot, but you can see how they did the bullish harami right here off the 200, gapped it up. If this starts trading positive, you start looking at the golds again. So the biggies, and I'm going to go to some that I don't even really look at. Look what happened in Goldman. Now, I don't trade Goldman because it just doesn't move around fast enough for me. But what can we see going on right here at this level? Well, there was a left-right smack dab off the 50. Bullish confirmation today, confirming the left-right, keeping us up above the T-line. So if I wouldn't trade this, but as long as you can see that the the financials are trading positive, that means the market is probably going to be trading positive. You could do iron condors on Goldman. However, the reason I don't play around with those type of trading strategies is because I don't want to analyze something that's not moving. The whole basis of candlestick analysis is analyzing things that are telling you things are moving right now. So the left-right combo is one of the signals or patterns that become very effective high probability trade setup. Louisiana Pacific, left-right combo right on the 34. Is the 34 relevant? Looks like it. So when it opened positive, it's confirming the signal, telling us the T-line's not acting as a resistance level. You can still be a buyer of this one on positive trading with the anticipation if this is wave one, wave three is going to end up here someplace. USX, left-right combo at a relevant spot? Yes, right here off the 50, up through the T-line and the 34. If it breaks this level, what do we got going on? Wave one, wave two, wave three. And why is this relevant? Because everybody was waiting to see what was going to happen. Right here at the 50. Andrea, the 34 EMA just seems to work. And when I say just seems to work, the beauty of candlestick analysis is we know the signals work. So we can apply other things like the moving averages, like the T-line, things that enhance the enhance the probabilities that there's reversals at specific levels. So the 34 is something that I used a long time ago, and somebody refreshed my memory not too long ago. But it works. Now, the nice thing, again, about candlestick analysis is if you put the 34 on and you see that it doesn't work, you can always take it back off. That's why the charts you're looking at are so clear, not clear, but so lacking of different indicators, got the 200, the 50, and the 34. These two are simple. This is the exponential and the key line. That's about all we need, because what's the most important criteria? Watching for the signal. A left-right combo, a left-right combo, a left-right combo. What's this left-right combo indicate? It's probably going to be in a J-hook pattern. So the reason, again, that we kind of emphasize, just learn a few simple patterns or signals, is there's a left-right combo. Where do you think the next target's going to be? Probably the top of the channel, telling you you're still in an uptrend. The reason I point out the left-right combo is because it works so successfully that it's just like the best friend signal. If I see a left-right combo, I'm going to take some action, because I know the results of that signal is going to produce not only high probabilities of it moving in the right direction, but the new direction is usually going to act fairly strong or be fairly substantial on the new move. When I tried putting on many impressed family and friends, confused the heck out of me. Didn't work. Through the years, Carl, came to the conclusion, too, that when I started buying something, I was trying to find the best trade setup I could for the day. So if I saw something like a left-right combo, I'd say, well, that's good. Well, let me see if I can find something better. Well, bouncing around all the time, I didn't always have a 100% grasp of what I should be looking for. When I narrowed it down to just 4 or 5, I still have more trades than I can possibly handle, but I can now analyze each one, knowing exactly where to buy and where to sell, where to not to be in, and when to be in and out. So I'd rather be very good. What's the old saying? I'd rather be a master of a few trades versus being a jack of all trades. I don't think that was the saying, but so there's a big left-right combo on JetBlue, as somebody pointed out today. I'd be buying this one on positive trading, because there's my left-right combo. There'd be bullish. That's right. Jack of all trades, master of none. I'd rather be a master of a few than be a jack of all trades. So if this opens positive tomorrow, what's it telling us? It's confirming our left-right combo, and it's telling us the T-line's not acting as resistance anymore. I think this is World Wrestling. Look where the left-right combo with a booster occurred, right smack dab off the 50. Where do you think your next likely target should be? Right up at the top of this trend channel. So this is, again, the 2 plus 2. A left-right combo, right smack dab off the 50. Stochastics coming up out of the oversold area. And it breaks this downtrending channel. What can I expect? At least this wave and this wave being the same or kind of correlating with going to the top of that channel. ENPH, left-right combo. Where do you think the next target's going to be? Up here at the top of this trend channel. What is the left-right combo? The left-right combo is this doji followed by a bullish engulfing signal. Kind of a doji followed by a bullish engulfing signal. Remember, excuse me, any signal that has the doji as part of its component is going to act a little bit better than the same signal where instead of this being a left-right combo, if this was just kind of a bullish engulfing signal, it's going to work, but it works more effectively if you've got a doji involved in that signal. So here's this, what we're kind of trying to figure out. What do we call this? You can see when this broke out on a J-hook pattern, and the fact that they could never close it back below the T-line, that there was your profit taking. They were showing you the profit taking was over. They were showing you the T-line was acting as support. You've got more upside. Profit taking, where does the profit taking come back to? Right back to the T-line. What do we expect after this? Remember what this is right here. Your best friend, even though you're in the overbought area, you're a breakout of a fry pan bottom, implying there's going to be more upside. You prefer 34 over 20 and set 34 as EMA, not SMA. Joe, mine is 34 EMA. And I preferred over the 20 because the 20 usually works more effectively when you have a long, steady uptrend. But the worst case scenario would be you put the 34 on your chart, you put the 20 on your chart, and after a few weeks or a month, you say, yeah, it's never really hit the 20, or it's never really hit the 34. You got to put them both on. You can put a gray, and you could put the 20 on as a purple or a light pink or whatever, something that shows the difference between the two. AMSC. More of a doji sandwich, but that's still a good, attractive uptrend. Okay, let me take a look here. All right, so this is what we're looking for. The name of this. And we know it's a kicker signal, but when there's a big, strong kicker signal, we're holding this one. We sold off half the position on Friday. Still have half the position. But you can see it's starting to get a little bit toppy up here. Shooting star, doji. You put a sell stop down here because if it opens positive and trades down there, now you've got a bearish engulfing signal. Because you're up here in the overbought area. What you want to see is it continuing to trade up. But this right here is telling you a story. Which one was that? FTDR. Did I do CTRP? Yes. Abercrombie Fitch. Big move. 45 degree. Gap up kicker. All right, gap up kicker. Except we got Kick-A-Bear. Costco. Remember, this is telling you there's a new dynamic. So once you learn what should happen up here. Now, if this had opened lower and traded lower, that had a different result. Do you wait for the close before exiting a position? I see you exiting when it closed lower than the previous candle, but others along the way sold off during the day and moved up. I usually wait to the end of the day because there's a very important factor of a candlestick signal, and that is the Japanese rice traders said there's two important decisions. Where do they open it and where do they close it? So there's a lot of times where if I see something, I don't see something right now. I don't see anything on here here's one to illustrate that point. That if it trades all the way back down here, I'm thinking, man, it's time to get out. I'll have to wait till the end of the day. Now, if it was down here at 10 o'clock in the morning, it's already down here. I'm still thinking, all right, stochastics are heading up. We haven't closed yet below the T-line. We're supposed to be in an uptrend. I've discovered that probably 85, 90% of the time, if you just wait to the end of the day, it does what the trend is telling you it's supposed to be doing. On the other hand, if it stays down here, it was already down here. So holding it through the end of the day didn't do anything different. other than the fact that if he closed it here at 10 o'clock in the morning, you would have given up the prospects that it was still in an uptrend. So that was a long, drawn-out answer to say, if I'm buying based upon a candlestick buy signal, I'm selling based upon a candlestick sell signal, which means I'm usually waiting toward the end of the day to be out of that trade. Now, if I'm in an overbought condition, I'll have to find one. But if I'm in an overbought condition, let's say, for example, this one opened, gapped up tomorrow up here. We're crying out loud. Oh, I'm sure that was somebody telling me my credit cards didn't have any problem. But if this gaps up in the overbought area, I'll put a safety stop somewhere where it shouldn't trade. That's Costco. We already did PBYI. This big gap up, now consolidation. This big gap up tells me more than likely I'm still in a 45 degree to the upside. We saw that already in Roku. The kicker signal tells me as long as it stays above the T line, you stay with it. CSAN. Now here's a case where this is, we did a weekend of probabilities that if you see a big, huge move, if I'm in something and I got a big, huge move where I'm up 25, 30, 40, 50, 60, 80, 100%, I'm probably going to take off half the position. Now, what do we want to see the next day? We want to see that they're trading positive. If they open it down here, it makes it very simple. It better start trading positive again. If it opens here and starts trading here and then starts back down, you want to close it out because that's telling you they aren't continuing. The prospects are 95% or 90% or greater, but if they're trading lower, there's profit taking. And when do you get back in? On the next buy signal, which might now be over here because it's breaking this little kind of wedge formation. But this is a very simple statistic. If you have a big, huge move, this went from 2 to 6, so it was up 300%. All right. I'm taking off half the position because most people are happier than pigs in doo-doo to make 10% a year on their portfolio. If you've got a trade you've made 300% one day, you better take some of that off the table, because you can pretty well guess that unless there's something huge happening, other people are going to take it off the table. Prox. Right there was our kind of our little doji gap up. How long to hang on to this? This is where now your analysis can be very simple. As long as it stays above the T line, notice it's consolidated, did kind of a morning star signal. Where do you think the next wave is heading? Up here. This is where the T line becomes extremely effective. Telling you, got this big gap up move. You stay long as it stays above the T line. And tags. Tags was another one. There's your kicker signal. There's your profit taking. There's your kicker or your piercing type signal. So what do you have here? Kind of a little scoop. What do you think's going to happen here? If it trades positive, wave 1, wave 2, going into wave 3. Why? Because your kicker signal breakout told you there's a brand new dynamic in this stock. Tom, hang on to your individual ones. We already did Facebook. So, what type of signal do we have here? Whoops, hang on for 1 second. Yes, kicker signal. Yeah, we've still have my goddaughter here, Sarah, and Kathy, her mother. They were intrigued because last night we've got all the big spotlights on around the house, light up the house, and when they went out to the kitchen, one of the raccoons was swinging on the bird feeder, trying to get his little tongue in one of the holes. They thought that was so cute. This morning, two of the bird feeders were knocked down, and a third one was leaning pretty bad. So, anyways, they are smart. Yep. It was a while back. We've got big garbage cans full of, you can't shoot the little buggers. They're too cute. Well, we've got big trash cans that I fill up with about 60 or 80 pounds of bird seed so we can fill the bird feeders. But at night, even no matter how hard you push the tops on the trash cans, these little buggers, I have a hard time pulling the top off these trash cans when I'm trying to get into the bird seed. They get the trash can tops off and they just sit in there and eat. Sandy went out one morning and digging the bird feed trash can, and there was 3 little baby raccoons sleeping on top of the bird seed, looking up at her saying, "What the heck, you waking us up for this early in the morning?" I put out, we had raccoons, and we've got skunks. We've got, one year the raccoons were so bad, they were pooping all over my deck. So I went out, cleaned it all up, and bought some, animal deterrent and spread that all over the deck. Next morning I got up and they pooped all over the animal deterrent. So that didn't work. Okay, so that was XOP. MYOK. You can see what's happening here. Look at your bobble breakout just about ready to occur. RPD. You can see the little scoop type pattern with the gap up today, breaking out to this level. Wave 1, wave 2, going into wave 3. IONS, same scenario. Look where the bounce occurred, right smack dab off the T-line. So there's your Doji sandwich breakout. There's your consolidation. And when the consolidation's over, what's your next move? A wave 3. So if you can calculate this moved up 12 points, that tells you probably around an $85 level is your upside. Larry, yes, I was mentioning earlier that today we had yesterday, again, little Sarah is recovering, but they looked out the front window and there was approximately 30 turkeys out there. Now, I had just gone out and when I go to Costco, I usually buy 250 to 300 pounds of bird seed because they go through it like food. Jeez. So I threw a couple extra buckets out because there was two turkeys there when I got there that I scared them off, so I threw 2 buckets out on the driveway. About 30 minutes later, there was 30 turkeys in the driveway eating. Anyways, wave 3 on IONS takes you up to about the $85 level. ESPR, kind of your fry pan bottom breakout. Look for more upside here. That's right. Okay, so there's a few more that look good. ZASAN, get ready for wave 3. BYGR, look for, again, there's your gap up. There's your J-hook pattern. So if this moved from 1050 to 1850, 8 points from here takes you up into about the $26 range. Oh boy, there's a ton of good setups. I'll probably look at repurchasing calls on ALGN because I suspect your next target is up in this area. So calls maybe 3 weeks out look good, and or maybe doing some sort of shorter term spread. Whoops. PLRA, a J-hook pattern setup. Again, from that big breakout. Look at what happened. Nothing, 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 and then the breakout. We did IONS. Still have a couple short positions left. Still short A-core, except notice what it did today. Came back up and did a doji. So if it opens positive tomorrow, we'll close it out. Because that's breaking this syndrome of this downtrend. And Domo, if you re-shorted it right here, you stay short because what's the indication? Every time it hits the T-line, they're selling it back off. Oh, I forgot BE. Whoops. BE. Bullish engulfing. Look at the double bottom. Look what started the next move up, your best friend. Your dark cloud, your bearish doji sandwich. It definitely had you out of this. Now you can think about buying it back on positive trading. Okay, so right now, because of the magnitude of this reversal, we still have to get the Dow up above the T-line, but the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 closing substantially above the T-line. It wasn't like they were coming up and testing it. They went right through it. Kind of gives us the impression that even if it waffles in here for a couple of days, as long as you stay above the T-line, you're going to be back in a condition where your long positions are still now or coming back to being relevant again. Guess that's about all I got. More than likely, here are the ones that are probably going to be recommended tomorrow. LXRX, because of the kicker signal, J-hook pattern. MYOK, because of potential bobble breakout. And IONS, for those of you in the options room, probably going to do a strategy on this one. No, I don't look at a volume because when I do my scanning, I've already scanned for stocks that are trading more than 200,000 shares a day on average. So I don't need to look at volume. Now, the only time the volume becomes a very relevant factor I'm just going to pick one out. Let's say, for example, it's consistent, and let's say just hypothetically, on one of these days you have a huge volume spike. Well, that tells me there's probably been a change of investor ownership. So that's when the volume becomes relevant. Now, I hear a lot of people say, well, I don't want to see the volume go up as the price goes up. Volume and price have absolutely nothing to do with each other. If nobody's willing to sell you the stock, price is going to go up on smaller volume. We're not buying volume, we're buying price. Was there big volume on JetBlue? Yeah, kind of a volume spike, but look what happened on this pullback. Looks like your volume diminished quite a bit. So that is, it's not a, what do I say? It's not a relevant signal, but it's a good added fluff to the signal itself. All right, so is there any general questions on candlestick analysis? When do you buy signals? The signals on the kicker signal, it doesn't matter where the stochastics are. On a signal, you're looking for the signal to occur when your stochastics are in the oversold area. Let's see. So I'm looking for the signals to occur when stochastics are oversold. But on a pattern breakout, more than likely, or more relevant, is your stochastics are probably already in the overbought area when the pattern does break out. A kicker signal is strong enough that it can happen anywhere. Yes. Okay, yeah, now we still need to come up with this type of breakout term instead of just a huge gap up. Last off, monster kicker. Well, they won't always be a monster kicker. Sometimes they'll be a best friend. Bullish leapfrog. Okay. Last off. Yeah, we got to give it something. Turbo kicker. Again, we don't want to use the word kicker. We need to give it some sort of Japanese type name. Tochimama. Apollo Gapper. All right. That's right. Pay your mortgage. All right. We'll work on it. We're going to keep pushing as long as until we come up with something. Space Eater. All right. All right. So XPO. Kicker type signal. Gap area up here. Good target. A bonsai. That's a kitten there. Tora. All right. Tora. Bonsai. All right. We're starting to. Now you're all starting to think a little bit. Okay. I guess with that, Jim, go ahead and do the double line. United Technology, yes. Big left-right combo. And Jim, do the double line, next double line. All right. Left-right combo. That's a good one. I'm writing that one down. Good left-right combo. And here is the confirmation we're looking for. That right there. Left-right combo breakout. Good one. CHL. Another left-right combo. This one is traded overseas. That's why it's so choppy. But you can see how they bounced up. You can be buying this one. It's just going to be harder to analyze because of the overseas trading. Netflix, nothing here yet. You can get ready, but out of all the signals and patterns, Netflix is the least compelling. Apple looks good, and Nvidia looks good. Adobe, that one looks good also because of the fact that they hit the 200 and then gapped up. PTE, here's one where you watch to see if they open positive tomorrow. If they do, you can be buying it. First Solar. That one's got kind of a piercing signal off the 200. Another one that more than likely is coming back up to the top of the trend channel, and then see what it does from there. Wynn Resorts, nothing here yet. If you're short, you stay short, but I would use today's open. That if it starts trading positive tomorrow, you cover your short position. I wouldn't be going long on this one just yet. Intel, this one you can buy. You won't make a whole heck of a lot of money with it, but it looks like it's coming back up into the trend. Vips did some gapping. Whoops. You can buy this one. Just watch to see what it does here. It needs to break out through that level. Facebook, if this opens positive tomorrow, again, you'll have the breakout through this level. And a doji sandwich, which tells me the next wave is in progress. Melly, you can be buying this one also. Could be in wave 3. Taco. Stay short. So you see a buy signal. Now you're here at the 200, but you're not in the completely oversold area. You see where after the shooting star harami that you had a bearish doji sandwich, you stay short until you see a buy signal on this one. If I was short right now, I'd have my safety stop just above today's high. Egan. Nothing here to get excited about. If I was out of this one because of this day, I wouldn't be back in it yet. I'd probably be someplace else. ENLC. This one I'd be more apt to be getting ready because of this factor right here. Oh, for sure. I'd be a buyer if it came back up through today's high, which was 1165. I'd put a buy stop at 1170. If it came up through there, I want to be a buyer. BSI. You can get ready to buy this one. You need bullish confirmation. Trade desk. You can buy this one. A little scoop type pattern after a left-right combo. That's a good chart. EEUM. Another doji sandwich breakout. You stay long on this one. We did Apple. Apple was recommended today by somebody. It was already in an uptrend. I would stay long, or I'd be a buyer of this one. If this one trades positive, dang, Jiminy Chris. Oh, for crying out loud. Oh. If it trades up above that level, you want to be a buyer. Weight Watchers, nothing yet. Now you are getting some buying right here. You're in the oversold area. If you were short and it trades positive tomorrow, I'd probably close out the position. And I'm pretty sure this one's not going to show up. Nope. UPLD. Here's your gap up. Look for a 45 degree off of here. If I was buying long tomorrow, I wouldn't want to see it trade back below today's low. CCL Carnival. Another one that if you were short, you can see where it's trying to base right here on the 50. I wouldn't be going long, but I would cover a short position on strength tomorrow. Advanced Micro, you can get ready to buy this one on positive trading, bouncing up off the moving averages. Weyerhaeuser, another one you can be buying. Won't make a whole heck of a lot of money percentage-wise, but if it breaks out through this level, bouncing off the 50, more than likely it's going to the 200. Boeing did almost a belt hold today. I wouldn't be afraid to be buying this one if you're aggressive on positive trading tomorrow, because this is a knee-jerk reaction, obviously. See if the buyers keep stepping in. Plan had a good chart also. There's your bullish engulfing J-hook type pattern. CYX, J-hook pattern. You can buy this one on positive trading. ACB, if you like this one, you can be buying it. It's not anything drastically dynamic yet, but you definitely want to see it break out through this level. Oh, the ones that we're trying to figure out is this. Instead of calling this a gap up or a kicker signal with a big move, it's just trying to give it another name because it can work with a doji gap up, a kicker gap up, things that show you a strong move. We just want to give it one name. G-dot, nothing major here. If you're short, I would have covered the short position. You can always re-short it if it comes down through here. Or if you didn't cover your short position, be ready to cover it on positive trading tomorrow. And Etsy, another belt hold type signal, J-hook pattern setup. You can get ready to buy this one on positive trading, making sure it breaks out through that level. Verizon, won't make a whole lot of money with it, but it's got a J-hook pattern. Should head back up, should break out through this level. But this is wave 1. Wave 3 should take you up into this area. Kamikaze kicker. Getting closer. All right. I don't want to put the kicker in there because some of them are best friends. Some of them are left-right combo gap ups. This one you can buy on positive trading, breaking out into another J-hook pattern. UBNT, same scenario. There's your J-hook pattern setting up. You can be a buyer of this one on positive trading. Don't let it close back below the T-line. BABA, gap up, kind of your island reversal. Be ready to buy this one on strength. And a bullish Harami right about the same level it bottomed out before. Be ready to buy this one with at least a bounce back up to the T-line. Geisha Gapper. There, Jeff, that's getting closer. Geisha Gapper. Harry Carey. I got to write down some of these. Geisha Gapper. Very Laura. Gonna figure out a combination name here, whether we like it or not. Let's see, Navi. Be ready to buy this one on positive trade, and a doji sandwich would take you back up through the resistance level that would make the next target the 200-day moving average. DFX heading for the 200. Fitbit. Nothing here. If you were short, you would have covered your short when it came back up to this level. I wouldn't be going long yet. That's right. Kamikaze for down. Oops. A big breakout. If it opens positive, expect a 45-degree from here. BJRI. There's the setup for your McMuffin. Morningstar signal. If it opens positive and does a doji sandwich, your McMuffin tells you at least they're coming back up to fill this gap at the 50 and then see what it does from that level. GMed. Kind of the same scenario. If this opens positive tomorrow, you want to be buying the doji sandwich telling you the T-line's not acting as resistance. A ninja leap. Okay, there's another term. Ninja. Oops. All right. YPF. This one you can get ready to buy also with the anticipation the next move is back up to the 50-day moving average. Apple, yes, got the potential going up to the 200. How do you determine a high percentage mover? Well, what one were we looking at? Something like AT&T. You can tell that if this moves from here to here over the next 2 weeks, if it moves from here to here, that's going to be about $1.20 on a $30 stock. That's about a 3% move over the next 4 weeks, 3 weeks. That's not a big percentage mover. What we're looking for is things that are going to move 10, have the potential of 10% or greater. Now, because something doesn't have a big percentage move, like, for example, Amazon, going from here to here, that's not a big percentage move. However, if you're trading options, knowing that it's moving in this direction and could move 50 points, 60 points to get there, that makes for a good option trade. AMRN, slow, steady, as long as it stays above the T-line. Abitatsu, last stuff, all right? If you like this one, meaning there's some that look moving in the right direction, they wouldn't be something I would buy. But if somebody liked it for some reason, a Makura, Profit Gap, all right. Bonsai Blast. A Bonsai Blast. Okay, Bonsai Blast. That one's got all right. I'll try to put a list together, and we'll have a vote in the chat room this week. Bonsai Blast would make a good breath mint flavor. Sumo kicker. No, we still don't want to use kicker in there. Just because some of them aren't going to be kickers. I don't want to get people confused. Visa, stay long, J-hook pattern. Nally, you can buy this one. You're not going to make a lot of money on the price movement, but the dividend yield is good. Westinghouse air brake. I guess that was how Westinghouse made his fortune, was the brakes on railroads. Nothing. I can't even figure that. That's just nothing. I'd be someplace else. We did Amazon. Samurai. We'll have to figure out how to. Bullish tsunami. Now there's something. Bullish tsunami. A tsunami. Okay. That's a good term. J-hook pattern. Stay long. Grand slam. Well, tsunami slam. We're going to figure out something. That's right. Don't worry. Flying javelin. Let's see. Don't worry. Whoever. I'm sure if we come up with a name and I ask who came up with that name, we'll have plenty of people going up. Tandem, just stay long because of whatever this name is. NIO. NIO, if you're short, you stay short. Look at your bearish kicker signal. Then look at your bearish doji sandwich. Now what you got to be careful is they break that level. Goog is one that you're not going to make a whole lot of money percentage-wise. So it's a more of an option trade. And right now, it's not anything real dramatic. It's just a slow, steady uptrend. Cannon shot, catapult. Doing cannonball. Oh, shoot, Andrea, that would take a while to figure out. Again, that all becomes a strategy of how many weeks do you think it would take to get there. It may only take it a week, so you might buy calls or even a spread. You might buy a spread with that being the top side, let's say 1730. A while back, we were looking at buying the 1700s and selling the 1710s, and I think at that time over here it was $1.80. But that meant if this closed above 1710, your $1.80 went to $10 at that time. I don't know whether anybody in the options room is still holding that position or not. A sushi swoosh. All right. Godzilla. All right. EDM, TNDM. Long, you can go long on positive trading. VCO, there's who was, I forget whether we were supposed to point out a Morningstar signal. That's definitely a Morningstar signal. That's definitely something you buy on positive trading tomorrow. So that has a high probability of coming back up into the trading channel. Hiroto, all right. Jayapu, Jayapu, CLDX. Nothing of any consequence right now. There's nothing there on that chart that would make you want to jump into it, long or short. PE, you can get ready to buy if it opens positive tomorrow. A jailbreak, high jumper, all right. NIO, still long. Dollar Tree, stay long. Not even in the overbought area. Expect a 45-degree. Maybe. Didn't you just look at this afternoon? Still wouldn't be real enthusiastic about this one. No bit as suit SP, if we can't even say it. Be kind of hard to. GH. There's your J-hook pattern. You can be getting ready to buy this one on positive trading. And Square kind of lost its pizzazz. However, it looks like it's starting to come back up. So you could buy this one on positive trading tomorrow, giving you a little doji sandwich setup. Flying Colossus, Blaster, Samurai, Striker. All right. Keiju, name for giant Japanese monsters. Keiju, all right. Keiju. Tokatsu, crazy special effects of movies, all right. Kamikaze, Samurai, Slingshot. There's something, all right. Silica, I think we did that one, didn't we? Silica has the Morningstar signal right here. You can buy this one on positive trading. Make sure it eventually gets up through this level. Tokusatsu. Spelled it wrong. Well, wouldn't matter. I don't know whether I'd say it right. I don't think spelling it wrong helped my pronunciation. Flying buttress. There's a flying buttress on a French church. MDGL. You can get ready to buy this one. If it comes back up, telling you you're in the steady uptrend. The difference between a pattern and a setup, well, the setup is telling you that the pattern is about ready to occur. So this, to me, is a pattern setup. So we were looking for the setup, telling you we were just about ready to break out of this pattern. So that's the setup right here. Or what did we say on some of these J-hooks? See why you can see how this pattern setup occurred with a left-right combo, breaking through this level, telling us we're in the next wave to the upside. Okay. Big reversal. Remember, the bigger the signal, we still need to see confirmation they can get the Dow up through the T-line. If you've got all three of the major indexes up through the T-line, that's that much more compelling evidence that the bulls are in the market across the board. Look at your Morningstar signal right here off the 50 on the transportation index. That's also a good indication. The Kraken, okay. But the Kraken isn't that the big sea monster? Oh, Kraken. All right, we'll figure it out. Jumping Kraken, all right. Yes, the Boeing kept the Dow from getting to its major potential. However, because we can see what type of signal was occurring in Boeing, and we could see what did occur in the Dow, even with Boeing pulling it back, that told us there was still a lot more bullish pressure there than what the Dow was actually exhibiting because of Boeing. But the real confirmation was the fact that the other indexes were blasting through. So this is why a lot of people say, well, why do you use the Dow? Why not use the New York Stock Exchange or the S&P 500? Because it takes about 10 seconds to look at all three of them to analyze Super Suda. All right, we'll figure something out. Super Suda. All right. Anyways, if they trade positive tomorrow, kind of anticipate they're going to come back up into this trend channel, meaning there's going to be more upside in this market. All right, I kept everybody way past time because we are goofing around. We're trying to find a name. So I'm going to try to combine a name, and we'll have a vote this week to see what would be the best name for that big breakout type signal. All right, everybody, have a good evening. We'll see you in the morning.